NFL Week 1 is upon us and college football Week 2 is upon us, and I have a big parlay for you guys in this video along with two potential $10,000 plays, if not $5,000 plays, because you know it's Week 1, we want to take it light. Last week, Clemson let us down, guys. Week 1, a game that could have gone our way. It just didn't. This week, we bounced back. Now, as always, you guys know the deal with Cafecito. I got my main man, Salo, in the house. How you doing, brother?
What's good, bro? I am happy, excited. I couldn't be more proud of my squad last week, and I was waiting for the show. The only thing that was missing was an FSU loss.
How did I know you were going to start this show with that bullshit, bro?
Come on, bro. You've been talking about Castellanos all weekend, dude.
Bro, but I haven't said a peep. Like Castellanos, I'm keeping it humble. It's about we, not me. Like you guys. But hey, I'll give it to you guys. Great win. You guys did well. Carson Beck got a little lucky. I think we can both agree with some of those passes that in another game it would have been a turnover. FSU, though. Based on FSU and UM, who looked a little bit better.
Alabama just looked like shit, brother.
Alabama did look bad. You know, my thing with this weekend, bro, was FSU that good or was Alabama that bad? And reality is going to hit in the next few weeks, not this upcoming week, because FSU's playing a very bad team this season. And same thing with UM, right? You face Notre Dame. Notre Dame has struggled in Miami, notably, right? How are they going to do away? How are they going to perform the rest of the season? How's Carson Beck going to perform? But ultimately, bro, we got to be proud of our Florida teams. We all won.
Man, all the Florida teams won. Miami has UF coming up, then FSU. It's going to be a good year. I think a lot of ranked opponents, and hopefully everybody makes the playoffs, baby.
That FSU UM game is going to be fire fucking works. Where is it this year?
It's going to be in Tallahassee.
In Tallahassee, baby. Your boys might be out there hosting a tailgate. Stay tuned for that. But FSU is going to take that game. We'll pay attention to that closer to it. But how about the hype of the league, Arch Manning, bro? What the fuck was that?
Brother, I don't know, man. It just feels like too many checks that the boy can't cash because he looks like a bust for the NIL deals that he got.
He does look like a bust, bro. Was it first game nerves? Do you think he'll bounce back?
I mean, you got to give him a shot, right? Like you have to hope that's what he was struggling with, right? Like it was a big environment. I think we spoke about it last weekend. Like he's going to a hostile territory. He's got all this pressure with that name, and he's going into Ohio State, who just won the chip. Like that's not easy to do as a young kid.
It's not easy to do. Ohio State also had a newer QB. Manning played last season a few games. It was a hostile environment. It was a low-scoring game, but let's call it what it is. I think you and I could have made some of the fucking throws he missed. And we had Ohio State in a small parlay, so I was rooting for Ohio State that game. Every throw that fucking Manning threw off, I was happy. I knew this guy's going to be a bust. I told you guys to fade him. But then Clemson let us down big time in that fucking second half. LSU looked good. But onward and forward, guys. We got a long season ahead. But we're going to get right to the money today, guys. NFL. Big time money lined up. I got some trends. I got some plays. But let's talk about a little bit before giving you guys the plays about this conflict of interest. We spoke about it a little bit last week, bro.
Yep.
NFL acquired ESPN for 10%, right? And notably, you mentioned it, right? Because they kind of like mentioned that it was an NFL Red Zone. Talk about it a little bit because I don't know exactly what it was.
Yeah, I mean, when they did the whole deal, I think the biggest point of emphasis was the whole Red Zone situation. Because as you know, Red Zone, everybody loves Red Zone. So
and now they have commercials.
Correct. So it became the topic of conversation, right? Everything else got kind of put under the rug in that whole big deal. And then everybody was so focused on Red Zone that they didn't realize what was in the fine print, right? So Red Zone, for example, now they just confirmed it today in Pat McAfee that it's going to have commercials, and he has no control over it. But then again, now you look at the fine print and it's like, okay, so what's really in that deal? And it's what you were saying, that 10% stake.
Yeah, man. It's conflict of interest. I made a post on Instagram. People start commenting that you only say that when you're losing, but it's not the case, right? We saw it plenty last season where there was situations where there was a touchdown that wasn't a touchdown and it was plainly a touchdown. Let's see how that plays out this season. And remember, guys, whoever's watching this video, last season, the sportsbook had their worst NFL season in 20 years. And the NFL encompasses majority of their money. Very unlikely they're going to have back-to-back bad years, right?
Yep. Agreed, and we said it. We're gonna start tracking it. Like we definitely, we were talking about it pregame. The Dolphins, Colts, all the money on the Dolphins.
We'll talk about that right now. Don't give him a head start on the picks for today.
Man,
But it's an interesting one, bro. Nonetheless, NFL acquiring ESPN, how that's gonna play out. You got MLB, a bunch of players looking like they're gambling, and you saw what Porter Jr. said in the NBA. It's like, bro, we come from the hood, and we can help our boys make 10 grand by telling them that I'm not gonna play or I'm not gonna score points. Based on how he said it that way, I was like, oh man, that makes sense, but it's still illegal and it couldn't be done, and it will definitely ruin this industry. If so, let's see how it pans out. Let's see how it plays out. Hopefully it doesn't affect it at all, but 10% of owning a sportsbook, you're rooting for the public to lose, plain and fucking simple.
that's it. It's just that easy.
It's that easy. Let's see what happens this season. But let's get to the money, guys. Let's get to the money. We got some fantasy sections. We're gonna have a section right now for my boy. He's a pro of fantasy. He's gonna give you guys a couple sitters, a couple starters, and something in between. I don't know exactly too much about fantasy, but I'll let you lead the way.
Fantasy sit and start. I mean, it's obviously week one. Everybody has the jitters. Who do I start? Who do I sit? So I'm gonna keep it very simple for week one. When it comes to sits, I'm going with 2 running backs. The first one, Travion Henderson, from the Patriots. He's the rookie. A lot of people drafted him early. They took him very high in their draft, so they feel like they have to start him. Reality is he will not have a role just right away. Ramondre Stevenson is still there. He's still their RB1, so he's going to have to eat into that time. So I wouldn't start him, week one. I'm not saying he's not going to be a good player. So the second one on my list, another rookie, Omarion Hampton from the Chargers. Najee Harris was out all preseason because God knows what he was doing with fireworks. So everybody took Hampton early. He looks like a promising running back. I think he's going to have a big role down the year. But week one, Najee Harris announced as a starter. He's the veteran presence there. So I see him taking most of the snaps or, a 50-50 split. So I definitely bench him. Now, when it comes
I might have drafted him.
Oh, my God. You see what I'm talking about? You don't listen, bro. That's a deep stash. You probably took him super early too, bro.
Fuck me, bro. All right, continue.
So now we move on to the start. This is where it gets interesting. So the first starter, another running back, Tony Pollard of the Titans.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's got that whole running back room to himself. His backup, he's injured, high ankle sprain. He's going to be out for at least 4 weeks. They're 8-point underdogs. They're going to be playing from behind. Cam Ward, he's going to be throwing. Tony Pollard, he can prove that he can catch. So he's going to be running. He's going to be catching. I think he's going to have a big game. And then my other one's a little low key. Chris Olave, who had a horrible year last year, but I think he's due for a bounce back. They're 6.5 underdogs versus the Cardinals. They're going to have to throw a lot. They're going to be down throughout the whole game, and there's no better receiver on that team than Chris Olave.
Do you worry about the quarterback situation?
I do worry about it, but at the end of the day, I think the quarterback's going to rely on somebody that he can trust, and I think it's going to be Chris Olave. Obviously, this guy, what's his name? The running back, Alvin Kamara is going to have his run at it. But I do think once they start throwing down the field, it's going to be the Chris Olave, who's the sure hands.
I do agree there. I like that a lot. I don't have any of those players, so I can't start them. So next week, bro, pick players for my team, please. No, I'm just kidding, man. But that's awesome. That's awesome stuff. I definitely hope to have a good fucking fantasy, but it's not my thing, bro. Having to update my lineups every week typically fucks me, bro. I forget 1 or 2 weeks, and then next thing you know, I'm not in the playoffs. I've won one.
You have to do it like once a week, dude. It's not like NBA where you gotta update it like every week. Like you're just lazy, bro.
Yeah,
like,
bro. I just forget, bro. I forget, and like for example, and I'll continue right on with the place team. For some fucking reason, it doesn't let me log into my app on my phone. I have to do it through my computer. So, bro, if I'm not home, I'm not busting a mission. But it is what it is. I still believe I'm not gonna make any excuses. Let's transition into the money, to the NFL, to week one. And we're gonna start off with game number 2, but I'm gonna cover game number 1 really briefly, which is Dallas versus the Eagles. And I don't have a play for you guys here, but I do like a player prop. I don't really throw player props. And it's Dak Prescott throwing over 40 passes. That team is going to rely on throwing a little bit. And it's not an official play, just a lean for you guys if you guys want to have fun with it. But there's a big gap there. That O-line versus that defensive line of the Eagles, that's one of the biggest mismatches in that game altogether. And Dak is going to feel it. He has 2 good wide receivers. Now with Pickett coming into that team, he's going to have space to throw to these guys, hopefully if his O-line protects him. A game that I'm going to stay away from. What do you think about that game, Salo?
Dallas, I'm interested to see what happens in Dallas. I'm interested to see because obviously, like you just said, they added another weapon.
It's in Philly though.
Yeah, no, but they have, Dallas has no run game. So they're gonna rely on the pass, but can the O-line protect them?
How are they going to react to Parsons being out? Is it going to motivate them, or is it going to kind of feel like they have a leader missing? And that's going to be the big question. They're not going to win that game, but are they going to cover 8.5 points is the big question here. So let's find out. I mean, I think Dak Prescott throwing over 40 passes is a good lean. I'm not going to take it, but it's a good lean that I saw for player props. Now, let's get to the money team. Friday, you got Kansas City going to the Chargers, even though the game is in Brazil. But the Chargers are technically home in that game. And home underdogs in week 1 are 22-7 since 2010. 22-7. Got the Chargers at 3 right now. This line opened up at 3.5, 3 depending on the book. It's sitting at 3. And you're catching lopsided action for the Chiefs. You really are, right? Now, before I give you guys my lean for that game, Salah, what do you think about that game? Do you think this is the bounce back year for Mahomes? Because that's honestly a concern of mine for this game. I feel like the Chiefs are going to come at. A lot of people are undervaluing them, and they might do something.
Yeah, I mean, I think so, bro. So, funny enough, it goes back to fantasy. Like, I took Isaiah Pacheco in a lot of my drafts because he was dropping down the fantasy board. And it's like a lot of people have forgotten who the Chiefs are and the firepower that, they're bringing. They have Xavier Worthy, who's going to come in, crush it. Obviously Kelsey, hopefully, he's back to his regular form.
Dude, he's getting married. That guy's going to be a beast now. Is she going to be out there, T-Swifts?
Yeah, no, that's it.
Gonna win.
And now, Rashid Rice, okay, cool. He's out for the first 6 weeks, cool. But then you have Hollywood Brown, who was injured all of last season. Well, a lot of people forget that guy has hands. So I think they have something to prove, right? A lot of people are like, oh, they were never a dynasty. So I feel like they're gonna come out with a chip on their shoulder.
That's how I see it. To the line, to me, I love the Chargers in this position, but Rashawn Slater being out for the entire season now because of a dumb injury, your left tackle, your blind spot, that's a big deal. And a situation where that the Kansas City Chiefs coach and defensive coordinator, one of the best in the league, is going to exploit. Now, Chargers are still a pretty solid team. They have a great coach altogether. Will they cover 3? I think the dynamic of it being in Brazil gives me more of a lean to take the Chargers with the trend that I just gave you. And 3 points, it's game 1 of the season, right? Chiefs just came from a season that they didn't expect to go the way it went. And now let's see how they come out. Are they going to come out motivated, or are they going to come out slow? Let's find out. I think this is a game where the Chargers plus 3 is a great play. Buy to 3.5, and you got a game. Now, it's not the main play of the week. These are the first 2 games that I like and I'm talking about. But let's get to the real money. And I'm going to talk about, I'm not going to say our, but I'm going to say Miami Dolphins. I'm a Miami guy. I love the Miami Heat. But what's going on here, bro? Let's talk about the trend, and I have it written out right here for us. You got no week 1 win since 2013 for the Colts. The Colts have fucking Daniel Jones starting as their quarterback, and the Dolphins are underdogs in that game. Let me know your thoughts, Dolphins fan. How is Tua going to do?
Brother, it's either this is a gimme by Vegas, or they're here to take everybody's money with the Dolphins.
After last year, bro, I vote the latter, man.
Yeah, like, bro, that is so scary. Oh my God, like, how are they underdogs? Like, who do they think we are, dude?
Minus 1.5, right? The line has gone down to 1. Money and support all over the Dolphins. But to back up why Vegas has them like this, right? The trend that doesn't back them, you got Colts having won since 2013. But you look at the head-to-head matchup in Indiana, and Indiana's like 4-1, 5-1 over the last 6 games in Indiana versus the Dolphins.
Yep.
How are the Dolphins going to come out? I'm not going to say they made it equally as a dumb trade like the Dallas with Micah Parsons, but letting go of Smith, not Ramsey too much, but letting go of Smith, one of the players, your tight end that had one of the most catches in the entire season, you let him go. How are they going to respond to that? Obviously, you got Hill, you got Waddle, you got A-Chain, which he's still questionable. Is he going to play or not? I drafted him, by the way. Hopefully, he plays and balls out. But that game,
he's going to play.
For me, bro, it's one of those, and I'm going to keep it honest with you guys. You either play the Colts or you stay away from that game altogether. Plain and simple. Take the Colts. It's telling. They're at home. Yes, you're betting on Daniel Jones, which isn't the best. Bounce back here, and he starts playing well. Altogether, though, there are trends backing the Dolphins, and there's trends backing the Colts. But Vegas knows best, and that's why the line's at -1. It's a game that, personally speaking, I wouldn't touch. I know you're going to slam Miami Dolphins money line, but
I might throw him in a parlay, but I can't tell you I'm going to take him straight. That's too scary. But, maybe a anytime touchdown by A-Chain or something, I might dabble at it. Just
That's my fucking
I took him in most of my drafts. So
That's my fantasy running back, bro. Hopefully he does well. But that's a scary game altogether, bro. Game number
Agreed.
2 that I freaking love because you got everybody on the Detroit Lions versus the Green Bay Packers, right? Detroit Lions coming from a season that ended up being a disappointment. Let's call it what it is. And we spoke about it in the show prior to that game versus Washington. Their offensive and defensive coordinators had accepted jobs before the game, and then they get blown out by Washington. And now they're coming into the season with a stacked team, but without 2 key pieces, an offensive and a defensive coordinator. How are they going to respond to that? Going into Green Bay with Micah Parsons, Green Bay is expected to do big things. As a matter of fact, you look at the power rankings right now, they're top 5. And they're playing at home. That stadium's going to be rocking. Jordan Love is ready to come back. Their defense is stellar. The running game is great. And you're facing the Detroit Lions team that's good. The line's sitting at -2.5 in favor of the Packers. -2.5, money and support going to the Lions. Not lopsided, but I would say 60-70% of the bets going to Detroit. And the line has pushed up from -1.5 to the Packers. I love this angle. You're backing a home team. You're backing a better team that's a little bit more steady based on the coaching and returning players. And they're motivated to make this year their year. And I think, personally speaking, these are division rivals. This is going to be 1 and 2 right here. One of these are going to be number 1, and the other one is going to be number 2. So I like the Packers in this game, bro. What do you think about this game?
So I love the angle, bro. I swear to God, I love the angle. The Packers, last year, a bunch of injuries. You feel like everybody in the receiving corps would go down the whole year. They had nobody to throw to. So now they're coming back healthy. They're ready to prove a point, like you said, and they're at home, Lambeau Field. Like, that is just not any walk in the park for anybody. But now the Lions, I think it's going to be a showdown, right? The Lions are coming back. They also feel like they have something to prove. They left something on the table last year, and it almost feels like it's this year or nothing, based on contracts and who they have.
Exactly.
So it's going to be a hell of a game for week 1. How about that?
It's going to be a hell of a game, and week 1 is stacked with hell of a games because you got that game at 4 p.m. and then you got the best game of probably, I'm not going to say the season, man, but this is a hell of a week 1 game, which is
crazy.
Ravens, right? This line is basically that even. It's fluctuated between Ravens being favored. Now the Bills are favored. And I want to know who ends up favored based on the trend that I just shared, right? Home underdogs, week 1, 22-7 at the spread. Money and support is going a little bit more right now to the Baltimore Ravens. I was about to say the Baltimore Orioles because I'm still thinking about MLB, but the Baltimore Ravens, right? They added players. They're expected to do big things. Lamar Jackson, quote unquote, is due to win this shit and make it a big year. They made them favored in Buffalo. That to me was the part that was telling. Buffalo was a better team last year, and you're making the Ravens favorite. It's week 1. I gotta lean with the Ravens. I know it goes against the trend, but I gotta lean with the Ravens. I know it's one of those of the head scratcher, but this is one of those games that you can toss a coin and it's gonna be one of those. It's not a game that you slam for anything. If anything, you throw into a parlay, you have fun with it. But it's a very 50-50 game. It's a great Sunday night game to really sit down, grab a drink, watch it with your boys, and relax after hitting big with the Colts early on against the Dolphins.
Yeah. Don't go chasing Sunday night. Don't try to make even more money Sunday night. Like, none of that. Just stay away, right?
And let's call it what it is, man, because I got a lot of messages this weekend regarding that, and some were positive, some were negative, but it's people that's chase. And it's like the Clemson loss wasn't their only loss. They went Sunday and started slamming MLB, and prior to the Clemson game, they slammed a bunch of different games, and now their bankroll went from, let's say, $1,000 to $200, and they're pissed. You think you're going to go into this weekend ready to make money, or do you think you're going to come into this weekend scared? And scared money makes no money. And when you play scared, your picks reflect that because you're playing like a PUSY. And typically you don't want to play like that. So don't chase, man. We've all done it. Salo, you've done it. I've done it plenty of times.
We're all victims of it.
We're all victims of it, but just don't do it, right? And NFL is when most people do it, especially because it's an all-day event. And my boy's an expert at it here. They start drinking like at 11, right? You start drinking like at 10 a.m. on Saturdays?
10 a.m. We do a, early little brunch. By 1 p.m., I don't even know who's playing.
Exactly. And then, like, you get some uppers and then figure it out. No, I'm just kidding. My boy's clean as hell, guys. But that is it regarding NFL for today. College football, a lot of games with big spreads. I'll give you 2 leans that I'm eyeing right now. First one, Boston College against Michigan State. in Michigan State. To me, Boston's the better team in that situation. You're catching them at plus 4.5 money and support going to Michigan. I love that angle, and I also love UNLV versus UCLA at UNLV at 2.5. Buy it up to 3 money on UCLA. I did not like what I saw last week from UCLA and their new quarterback that demands a lot of money in Tennessee. I mean,
That's so funny.
He was a freaking bust with UCLA last week. He played really bad. Now going to UNLV, there's nerves there. I like both these angles as underdogs. And altogether, guys, a big week for us. Now, we are doing a giveaway. And this one is going to be even better because we're doing something a little bit differently. Last week, we saw the comments, we saw everything that everybody was posting it, but we realized that we wanted to make it a little bit more fun. And this time, the giveaway is going to be double. So instead of 100, it's going to be 200 or a great jersey that's worth $200. Last week, we're going to avoid it. Why? Because it was just random comments. Whoever posts 3 picks, and they have to be run line or money line under minus 200. Can be above that. You're not going to be taking a big favorite.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who's a big favorite, but I can't really think of one. You got to take 3. The person that comments first, 3 winners will be the winner. It's not going to be based on us picking somebody. It's going to be based on your picks, and the person that comments first, the 3 winners will be the winner and wins $200 instead of 100 for last week. And this is how we're going to approach it every single week moving forward, guys. So like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and also follow the instructions below. That way you get a chance to win this giveaway. Salo, follow his sits, follow his starters. I didn't follow him last season, and I wish I would have. I would have won Salo this season. He fucked me. He didn't fucking teach me how to do this right, but he's going to teach you guys. Salo, any parting words for the crowd? Anything you want to say? Don't say anything regarding UM because nobody cares. Anything else?
Just let us know what you want to see. Let us know what content you want to, what you want to hear about, and give us some tips, man. We're open for it and learning every week, so let's get it.
Without a doubt. I mean, at the end of the day, we're doing this for you guys. So if you guys want to see something added to the show, something removed, something that we're talking about too much, just post it, right? Yep. And the likes in the comments are going to determine if everybody agrees or not. That's typically how it goes, right? So that is it for today, team. Enjoy week 1 of NFL, week 2 of college football, and we'll be back next week. Share the show. Catch you guys next week.